Hi guys, we know that Labour are pretty much certain to win the general election, and we can almost now look at what happens post that. What will Keir Starmer do as Prime Minister? One of the arguments presented in response to his U-turns on the pledges he made in order to win the Labour leadership is that things have changed. Brexit, the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, Liz Truss have made things all the more difficult, and a Labour government will not be able to deliver what Starmer had promised in 2020. Here Tom Baldwin, the author of Keir Starmer, the Biography, explains why the Labour leader can't promise big.
Of course things have changed. And Starmer talks about how you've had COVID and you've had Ukraine and you've had Liz Truss. And if you don't change when the facts change, you're not really like most rational people. There's something we expect of political leaders that we don't expect of ourselves, which is to stick by everything they've said 4 years ago, come what may, no matter how much the facts change. But he made those
pledges in order to get elected as Labour leader. That was what he was promising the party.
Yeah, but I don't think he was predicting you were going to have COVID, Ukraine and Liz Truss. But if you want, people talk about trust. And I think there are some people who voted for Keir Starmer because of the 10 pledges, and they have every right to be fed up, and I understand that. But there is also trust with a wider group of people. And if you go into elections saying you're going to spend all this money, which you know you can't spend, and do all these things which you know you can't do, I don't think you're going to build trust with the electorate.
No, he's correct. So things have changed since 2020, since Keir Starmer took over. There's been the pandemic, there's been the war in Ukraine, there's been Brexit, there's been Liz Truss. So all of these things have impacted the economy negatively. So this is true. But I think what we're looking at instead is more a case of triangulation. Now, what I mean by that, this is a term I believe that started in the 1990s under Bill Clinton in the US. What you do is in the primaries, you run to the left, you appeal to the left of the party, and then in the general election, you appeal to the centre. And I think this is exactly what Keir Starmer did. He told the left of the party what they wanted to hear. And now that he's the leader of the Labour Party, he's telling the centre, or he's telling the general public what he believes they want to hear, which at the moment is, we're not the Tories. Now, this is Machiavellian, this is dishonest, this is politics, whatever way you want to look at it. I don't think it's a good thing. I think you need to be honest. You can't criticise the Conservatives for being dishonest if you do pretty much the same thing yourself in a different way. But this is politics, as I said. This is the dirty game of politics. You tell one section of society what they want to hear, and you tell another section of society what they want to hear, and hope that they don't meet at any stage. Now, when it comes to Starmer and what he's going to do, we still don't know, because he said one thing in 2020, he's now saying something different in 2024. And when he becomes Prime Minister, he may say something else. The goal, of course, it seems, is just to get into power. What does he want to do after that remains to be seen. Because one side will say he wants to do X, another side will say he wants to do Y, but we don't know until he's in power. But it does seem that the Labour Party are moving to the centre. They are more interested in appealing to the business community. They're not interested in doing anything radical at the moment. And one of the biggest criticisms I have of them is that they don't seem interested in imposing a wealth tax. And I think this is fundamentally necessary in order to grow the economy. In order to grow the economy, you need to pay higher wages to doctors, nurses, get the waiting list down, get people off the waiting list, get people back into work, deal with social care, deal with the NHS. And in order to achieve that, you need money. You need a significant amount. And one way of achieving that would be through a wealth tax. But it doesn't seem to be something that's on the table at the moment. That could change, but at the moment it doesn't seem to be the case. So, as I said, things have changed. Yes, certainly, nobody can argue that. But I do believe that what Starmer was doing was telling the left what they wanted to hear. And now that he wants to win the election, he realizes, well, I need to move more to the centre, or at least appear to be that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.